Hey everybody, welcome to What Even Is Venus? Improbable Dream. This game, I will say this is a demo right now. There is a Kickstarter campaign going on for this game. It is an indie passion project, a choice-based visual novel centered around music, friendship, romance, and mental health. This game is being developed by Borealis, and if you're interested, there'll be links to the Kickstarter campaign down in the description below. You can go check it out. You can go support it if you choose to. Either way, go give it a look. It seems interesting. Now, I'll be honest with you, I've never played a visual novel game before in my life, but I'll be 100% real with you. If this ends up being like a serious thing, I apologize in advance because mentally I am not allowed to relate to characters on a spiritual level. So this will be a fun one. I have no idea what this word is. History, auto, save, load, settings. You know what? Give me a history. The diary history is empty. Okay, fair enough. Give me just a click. Okay. That's what my parents told me it was called. I just realized that while I was making jokes, this person is dealing with a very severe medical condition. A growth of extra blood vessels clumped together to form a tumor. Dude, that's a good item in Isaac. Okay, I told you, the jokes are gonna come. No one knows why it happened. Some people are just unlucky, I guess. Mine started appearing a few weeks after I was born. A slight discoloration of skin, barely noticeable at first, that slowly began to take over my face little by little. They start out flat and grow bigger and bigger with time. After a point, they reach their limit and begin to shrink, eventually disappearing altogether, just like my ex. Most children who have hema... I can work this word out. Okay, hema means blood. Giomas, which means giant mass. Blood giant mass. Look, Latin's not that hard, okay? I don't know why people take languages all the time in college. Most children who have hemogiomas lose them by the time they're 10. I didn't. I'm like 10 and a half, dude. Around the time I started junior high, the doctor started giving me all sorts of medication in order to get it to reduce. But there were limited results. The main swollen bulge of tumor shrank, for the most part. But other than that, nothing changed. I'm still left with a huge dark red patch of rough, rubbery skin on my face. That's fine, dude. Just do what Hawk did in Cobra Kai. Flip the script. I hate it. Surgery was discussed at one point, but considering how close it is to my eye, it would be risky. My parents decided against it. They said that I didn't need it, that I could still live a perfectly happy life the way things were, and that was that. Mom and Dad don't understand me, okay? You try living life with a rubbery scab underneath your eye. Hemogioma and tumor sound like scary words, but in fact, hemogiomas are almost always harmless, so they're not scary at all. Well, not to everyone. They still are to me. Not because of what mine could do to me, but for what it does to other people. I can't even begin to recall the amount of times a stranger has gawked at me on the streets, or shuddered in repulsion at the sight of my face. The worst part is, I don't blame them. After a while, it began to feel like I deserved every mean comment, every snarky remark. Oh man, the reading's gonna be coming hard on this one, huh? Okay. Every snarky remark. And every playtime left alone. While everyone else had fun together, they were right. I'm ugly. Every time I see it, touch it, bop it, twist it, pull it, or remember that it's there, I just want to die. My parents used to tell me that it didn't matter what I looked like, that the people who were rude about it were the problem, not me. They'd always insist that I grow up, or just the same as everyone else. They were wrong. How can I hold a conversation with somebody when they're staring at the monstrosity on my face? How can I have a friend when no one can stand to look at me? Dude, get into radio. I'm telling you. That's all it takes. If you're ugly, go to radio. That's what I did. And how can my parents pretend that they're happy when their child is an outcast, a reject, a freak? It sounds like you're projecting quite a bit here. Again, you know your parents more than I do, but chances are they probably only slightly hate you for your disfigurement and not completely, because it's a disfigurement that allows you to get a job and pay bills and not one that makes you a burden. Again, might be getting a little bit too personal there. I figured out pretty quickly that there was no point in trying to be normal. Someone like me can never fit in with any group of friends. They'd only keep me around so that I could be the butt of everyone's jokes. That's exactly why your parents chose to keep you. Yep, you got it. Nailed it. 10 out of 10. I started doing everything I could to not be noticed. I put the absolute minimum effort into everything. I mean, look at your hair, dude. I taught myself to be invisible. Yes, that's right. I rolled a new D&D character class, went hard into invisibility. We're stealth rogues, baby. I felt lonely and isolated, but it was better than being picked on. That's just why I have to live my life now. I might be 17 and almost ready to face the real world, but as long as I have this hemangioма, I will pronounce this word differently every single time. I'll never be able to face anything. Not even my own face. Oh, dude, you can't never trust anyone, not even yourself. Your own face is just not the face that you want to deal with. Chapter 1. Curiosity. I was told that this has about like 3 to 4 hours of storytelling and gameplay in it. So I'm not going to do all that in a video, but I'm interested in seeing where this goes. So we have Freak Boy who wants to kill himself. Not a good way to start. Honestly, there's always help. First of all, if you're having these thoughts, don't do it. Why? Because like, what's the point? Just another day. The other students around me are sharing whispered chatter as usual. I sit right at the back of the room so I could see everybody else in the class. More importantly, they can't see me. Yeah, until the teacher calls on you and then everyone in the class turns around to be like, oh, what are you doing, Hidara Gemura boy? It's one of my safety barriers. You tend to make a lot of them when you have a problem like I do. Glancing back at my workbook, I let my eyes comb over the questions again. I answered them all, but the incessant scratching of pens and paper tells me that everyone else is still working. It usually plays out this way. I've never exactly been smart, but with nobody to talk to and no wish to be noticed, I just put my head into my schoolwork. Thanks to this, I've never had any issues with low grades. The last thing I want is to be called out for not putting in enough effort. Wouldn't really help with the whole not being noticed thing. Dude, you're the main character of the story. I'm telling you right now, you're gonna get noticed, brother, so you might as well just buckle in and get ready. With nothing else to do, I let my gaze move to the view of the windows to my left. It's early June, so rainy season's probably gonna hit us soon. The sky isn't exactly cheerful, turning more and more gray by the day, but at least it's warm, unlike the love I received from my parents. Don't forget to read through pages 198 to 204 before next class. Oh, thank you, teacher. Make sure you answer questions 1, 2, and 3, but every single question has 14 side questions. Welcome to your new hell. Matsumoto-sensei's voice is so loud in comparison to the hush of the room, I almost flinch. Dude, that happens to me all the time. You just be focusing on like you're playing some Pokemon Go in class when you should be paying attention, and then you get called out and you're like, ah, God. His instruction must mean that the bell is about to ring for lunch. Looking at the clock on the wall confirms this. Quietly, I start to pack my things away. My classmates aren't in the same hurry, as they tend to linger for a while, gossiping and doing whatever it is that friends do. I wouldn't know. I'm a social outcast. You wouldn't catch me doing either of those things. Like I said, I have no friends. I have my own little ritual that I do every day. After finding a secluded spot, not long after I first came to this school, I've always eaten there alone, away from prying eyes. It's more comfortable that way. Thinking about it makes me even more anxious to get there, and enjoy at least an hour of peace before I have to come back to another room full of people. Remember, it's Wednesday. This is Matsumoto-sensei. I'm gonna do like a little bit more of a deeper voice for him. Remember, it's Wednesday. So you got your science quiz coming up after lunch. That's right, I don't know why he's like an upbeat American, but he is now. Yes, Matsumoto-sensei. You might know him from a hometown of Georgia. Classroom erupts into a collective groan. The teacher's assigning us homework. That's too bad. I wanted to go to the arcade and play the quarter machines. I don't know what children do anymore. I think I'm the only person who doesn't object. What are you gonna do? Make a noise so people look at you? Of course you're not gonna object. I already know your character. Hoisting my bag on my shoulders and leaning forward in my seat, I find myself staring at the clock, watching the second hand tick by, waiting for the first acceptable moment to leave the room. The faster I can get away from everyone, the better. The wait feels impossibly drawn out. Time seems to slow down, but eventually the hands synchronize on the hour. Oh, we got sound effects. It scared the hell out of me. The bell rings out shrilly in the corridor, just like Mrs. Trentadue, my English teacher in like grade 12. What a monster. Anyway, acting like the starting gun of a race, I started up from my seat before anybody else does, trying to not be noticed by being the first person to leave the room. Understandable. Turning towards the door, grateful to escape the discomfort of the crowded room. However, just as I'm taking my first step, another sound echoes across the classroom, coming from the opposite direction. Akane! Sorry, that was Matsumoto-sensei. Akane! My entire body freezes in place. Oh no, somebody said my name out loud? It's like a demon summoning. Now it's like a reverse vampire. I can't leave now. My teacher never calls on me. I'm the unremarkable kid who gets decent grades and never says a word. What does he want with me? I struggle to... Oh, dude, it's getting intense. I love how this game is capturing, like, every moment of, like, an intense social interaction that's really not a big deal, but you're making it a big deal because this person has issues. I struggle to twist my rigid limbs back towards the front of the classroom. Skirt. Highly aware of many students glancing at me as I do so, this is exactly the kind of thing I hate. There's nothing in the world that I want to do more than just run out of the room, but I guess I can't. Yeah, you can. What's he gonna do? Chase you? He's a teacher. Probably can't do that. Depends on what country this is. Fixing my eyes on the floor in a desperate attempt to ignore everybody's gaze, I force myself to watch the Matsumoto sensei's desk. To be honest, I'm surprised that he called on me like that in front of everyone. He's the one who let me sit behind the rest of the class, and who never makes me answer a question or read a passage from a textbook. He knows what I'm like. My anxiety has always been something that was just accepted since I came to this school. I think as long as my work is good, they let it slide. They don't tend to push me into anything. Dude, he just called you. Calm down. As I reached his desk, he steps back from it towards the blackboard. He probably realized how awkward this is for me, and is trying to put more space between us and the rest of the class. I take a lightning-fast glance backwards at everybody. The noise level in the room has gone up considerably. Friends starting to gather in groups and talk amongst themselves, and others are leaving the room to get lunch. Oh my god, it's like nobody even cares that you're up there. It gives me the slightest bit of relief to know that I'm no longer in the center of most people's attentions. You never were, brother. You never were. Honestly, the only person who cares about you this much is yourself. That's it. That's how anxiety works, brother. Still uncomfortable. I meet Matsumoto sensei's eyes briefly to let him know that I'm ready to listen to whatever it is that he wants to say. Hopefully this will be quick. Oh, dude, we have character art. That's not at all what I thought he looked like. Akane, I've got a proposition for you. A highly unusual start to the conversation. I've never had anybody talk to me like a normal human. The school has been in touch with your parents. The school has been in touch with your parents. We're all a little concerned about your progress here. My progress? He can't mean my grades. Your work is quite satisfactory. You're doing the bare minimum. But there's been talk about your interactions with other students, or lack thereof, I should say. His facial expressions grow a bit awkward for a second, before he regains his usual serious gaze. He's probably not used to having to talk about these kinds of things. That's fine, because this is the first conversation you've ever had with a human being, so you know what? It's on both of you at this point. I thought that my solidarity had always been glossed over in the light of my decent schoolwork, but I guess I couldn't hide my problems forever. Oh my god, what did I do? I scrolled, dude. I understand that you had issues. There's no point going into them now. What's this? There was like a little boy there. Why was there a boy there? Did I miss an option? Oh, I could save. I do not want to save. I want to keep going. Okay. I thank him silently inside my own head. God forbid I say a word out loud. The other teachers and your parents are worried about your future, Akane. What you'll do once you leave this school. Get into radio. I told you. I solved every issue in this game I solved within the first 3 minutes. You're welcome. It would be very difficult for somebody of your nature to succeed in life. Get into radio, dude. That's it. Or become a YouTuber. A YouTuber with like a weird face, you'll be racking in that subscription-based money. I know exactly what he's talking about. The thought of graduating and having to find some way of supporting myself, integrating myself into society, getting a job, is too much to handle. Instead of facing up to it, I simply throw myself into the present moment, living in some sort of fantasy that I'll never get to that point. I know I'm wrong, of course, but it's all I can do to keep myself going for now. That's fair, dude. A lot of people do that. That's a relatable little tangent right there. For Matsumoto Sensei's doubtful expression, I can sense that he's probably aware of it. I nod tensely, and he exhales, seeming to have a lot on his mind. Sorry, dude, this man has so much stuff going on at his home. Look right here. You see this tension he's got in the forehead going on? He's got like a mild blush. This dude's absolutely drunk. This man is drunk at work. I cannot believe it. Okay, well, you know what? Hey, man, Matsumoto Sensei, he's got to do what he's got to do if this is like an average sample size of like the type of students he's dealing with in his class, I get it. A suggestion has been put forward that may help you with this. Something for you to try out. Oh, baby. I don't like where this is going. If my parents think I'm enrolling into some kind of therapy group or getting doped up on anxiety medication, oh, yeah, I don't want my parents to think I'm actually doing something to help better myself. God forbid. You used to play the piano, didn't you? How do you know? What's that got to do with anything? Whoa, why are you getting defensive? Kakeru! Who's Kakeru? Yes? I mumble the word. Oh, I'm Kakeru. Is that the first time this person has spoken out loud? That makes sense to me, yeah. I mumble the word quietly, still bemused. Of all the things I was expecting him to say, that wasn't one of them. Your parents tell me that you quite enjoyed it as a younger child. You don't have to say younger child. As a person who is younger than you are now, enjoyed is probably a strong word to use. Do people think this much in their head when they're having a conversation? Because, like, my God, man, my brain is, like, silent for, like, 90% of my life. The 10% is usually when I'm having some sort of existential crisis. Enjoyed is probably a strong word. I don't like to admit that I have human emotions. I took up the instrument as something to do. I honestly, like, it doesn't surprise me. Since I never really had any friends to hang out with. I don't know why I chose the piano. I could have been anything, really. Honestly, because nobody wants to be the dude who, like, plays the flute. That's why. I had private lessons for a while. You could be saying all this to him, dude. It was a half-decent way to pass the time, although I never really put my heart and soul into it. You never learned heart and soul on the piano? Dun, 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 dun. That's like the first one they teach you. After a while, I just lost interest. I don't consider myself a musician, so I didn't feel bad about letting the hobby go. Besides, it's kind of impossible to practice when you don't have a piano at home. I now realize that I have been silent for over 47 minutes, and somehow Matsumoto-sensei is still, like, completely and totally smashed. I never really thought about it since, having not played for years. It's just another part of my life that fell by the wayside when I decided to isolate myself from the world as much as I could. I still don't understand why this is relevant to my anxiety, he asked himself, over and over, worrying about his anxiety. How would you like to try it again? This is the most patient person I've ever seen in my life. I glanced up at him after hearing his question, and he has an unsettling mixture of concern and optimism in his eyes as he searches my face for a reaction. It's been suggested that you join the music club as an after-school activity. I think it's the fear in my eyes that causes him to avert his gaze for a moment. Maybe it's because you're just an awkward person. The music club? Oh, dude, this man's gonna go Mob Psycho 100. I promise you, by the end of the story, he's gonna, like, unlock his hidden abilities and, like, just nuke this entire school. I've never joined a school club in my life. A room full of people expected to work together in close proximity to make something happen is a complete opposite of what I want. Are you kidding? During COVID? Oh, people blowing into instruments? Sprouting spores all over the place? I want everything to stay the way it is. I want to sit at the back of the class and scrape by, unnoticed by everyone else. How on earth could someone like me join a club? Matsumoto-sensei clearly notices my internal panicking and tries to come across me more gently as he continues. Honestly, it's not a big deal. Do you want to join the club? It's not like it's a yes or no. I understand that this is a difficult concept for you, Akane. You know what? I got respect for this guy. Clearly, like, Akane has, like, many issues. But you only have to deal with him for, like, 1 year. So, like, you know, it's not like his parents have to deal with him every day. The issue is that the longer you remain like this, the harder it will be for you to break out of it. I know he's right. I just can't stand it. Well, deal with it. All we'd like you to do is attend one session with the music club to start with. See how you like taking up piano again. You never know. It might prove to be a good experience. They don't have a pianist, as far as I'm aware. They'll probably be very pleased to have you join the group. A disgusting-faced hermit who hasn't practiced an instrument for years and can't hold a conversation with anybody? Oh yeah, I'm sure they'll be thrilled to have me. You don't have to talk, you just have to press buttons on a keyboard. It's easy. I could do it, not properly or well, or like beautifully, but you know, I could do it. With every second that passes, I plunge further and further into disbelief that this is happening. Somebody coming up to me with a suggestion, who would have conceived of this possibility? As calm as Matsumoto-sensei is, he's totally drunk, dude, that's why. I get the feeling that I'm being told to join the music club rather than asked. It's like not an avoidable... It's like it's not an avoidable fate. Your name has been passed on to Kudo, the club advisor, so he knows you'll be attending. That fact proves my suspicion exactly. If I were you, I'd head over there today after school. The quicker you begin, the quicker you can start to make progress. I'm sure your parents will be very excited to hear how it goes. I've already told them. I'm sure they will. I can't believe they volunteered me for this without asking me. Yo, he's gonna lose it, man. My thoughts threaten to consume me entirely. But I can feel Matsumoto-sensei's eyes boring into my face, waiting for some sort of answer. My skin starts to prickle, and my stomach jitters. I want to say no, but considering everything he said, I don't think it's possible. You could just, like, literally say, no, oh my god, he's dead. Squeezing my eyes shut and accepting my circumstances as grudgingly as anyone can. I nod my head. I'm not looking at him, but I can feel him relax. Great news! I'll send a message to Kudo. This could be the start of something very beneficial to you. I hear him step aside, collecting his thoughts together from his desk. And I take this as an indication that our conversation is over. Pressing my eyes open again, I almost hope that this had all been a bad dream, that I'll wake up in my bed. And this person, like... I get it. Anxiety sucks, especially when you've been dealing with it your whole life, but like... Go play the piano, you coward. Unfortunately, the classroom comes hastily back to view. It's real. Oh no. I had one conversation today. Better go write it into my feelings journal. A little too overwhelmed to think properly, I coerce my legs to walk again. Propelling me towards the door, let's just focus on getting to my safe spot first. Akane? I halt myself against the sound of my own name being called once more. Twice in one day? This has never happened before, dude. My nerves somewhat frazzled. I don't turn around, simply waiting for him to speak again. What he says is something I can't bring myself to fathom as a possible reality. No one is going to laugh at you. Okay, I didn't mean to laugh while I read that, but I get it. Okay, you know what? There's a lot of stuff going on here. If you are somebody that struggles with anxiety, and that is somebody as myself as well, I think this game has like a good potential to kind of walk you through what happens and how people deal with it in different ways. And I know I made a lot of jokes throughout this reading, but that's because I like my brain doesn't allow me to be serious about anything. But yeah, I think there's a lot of great potential, especially if you are a fan of the graphic novel or the visual novel universe. So this is Venus, Improbable Dreams. Kickstarter is still underway for another couple days. Go and support the project if you like what you saw and you want to see more and you want to get out there and see what else could happen on the journey of Akane as he deals with having like a slight disfigurement on his face and playing the piano. Who knows what could possibly happen? And if you like the episode, hit the like button. It does help me out. Of course, you want to see more of my content in the future, hit the subscribe button, join the Fate Tribe. My name is Farival. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!